I still have the screenshot, not because it proves anything to anyone else. To most people, it just looks like a blurry image of a Reddit comment and a deleted username. But every time I look at it, I remember the week I realized that the internet doesn't just let people hide, it helps them. This happened 4 years ago, and I haven't told the whole story to anyone because parts of it make me sound paranoid. Maybe I was, maybe I still am, but if I had ignored what I found, I honestly don't think I'd be here telling you this. Back then, I spent way too much time on Reddit. Like a lot of people, I'd browse late at night after work, mostly reading scary stories, true crime, and confession threads. They were addictive because they felt real. Sometimes they probably were. One Friday night, I clicked on a post titled, "I ruined someone's life and they never knew it." The account was brand new, no profile picture, no comment history, just one confession. It wasn't written dramatically. That's what caught my attention. The person described secretly planning evidence in a coworker's car so they'd be arrested for theft. According to the confession, the coworker lost their job, their marriage fell apart, and eventually they disappeared from town. The last sentence bothered me. The funny thing is, everyone thought they knew who I was. They were all wrong. Thousands of upvotes, hundreds of comments. Then the account disappeared within an hour. I forgot about it, or at least I thought I did. The next week, another confession reached the front page. Different account, same writing style, short sentences, almost emotionless. This one described convincing a lonely man online to invest his savings into fake cryptocurrency before deleting every account connected to the scam. Again, nobody ever suspects the quiet person. That line stuck in my head. I started wondering if it was the same writer. It became a weird hobby. Whenever one of these disturbing confessions appeared, I'd compare phrases, punctuation, even spelling mistakes. The accounts always disappeared within hours. The confessions always involved someone's life being quietly destroyed. No murders, no supernatural nonsense, just manipulation. Every story ended with the writer getting away with it. After the 6th confession, I made a spreadsheet. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But I was curious. Every post contained little repeated habits. The writer never used contractions, always wrote cannot instead of can't, always used the phrase the interesting part, always ended with a sentence implying they'd never be caught. I posted my observations in a subreddit dedicated to internet mysteries. The responses were mixed. Some people agreed. Others laughed and said I was connecting random dots. One comment simply said, "Stop looking. No punctuation. Brand new account." I assumed it was someone trolling. I replied with a joke. The account deleted itself 5 minutes later. I should have left it alone. Instead, I became obsessed. Every evening, I'd search Reddit for new confessions. One night, I received a direct message. "You're close." Nothing else. No username after 20 minutes. Deleted. I remember sitting there staring at my monitor. For the first time, this didn't feel like internet fun anymore. I locked my apartment door, even though I lived on the 3rd floor. The next morning, I convinced myself I was overreacting. People troll online. That's normal. Then things started happening offline. Someone had moved the welcome mat outside my apartment. Not stolen, just rotated 90 degrees. I laughed. Probably maintenance, a kid, wind, anything. 2 days later, my mailbox was open. Nothing missing. Again. Easy explanation. Then I got another Reddit message. "You checked your mailbox." I froze. There was no way someone could know that. I checked the sender. Deleted account. I reread the message over and over, trying to convince myself I'd imagined it. Maybe it was coincidence, maybe not. I stopped posting, stopped commenting. I even deleted my mystery thread. I figured whoever was behind it would get bored. Instead, they became more interested. A small envelope appeared under my apartment door. Inside was a printed screenshot of my spreadsheet, not the one online, the one saved on my computer. Across the page, someone had written with a black marker, "Wrong pattern. No fingerprints according to the police." Yes, I called them. The officer asked if anyone had access to my apartment. Friends, family, landlord? I said no. He suggested changing my passwords. He wasn't rude. He just clearly believed someone had hacked my computer. That explanation actually comforted me. Until I got home. Nothing had been stolen, nothing looked disturbed, except my bedroom closet door. I always left it open. Now it was closed. I stood there for probably a full minute before opening it. Nothing inside except clothes. Still, someone had been there. I could feel it. I installed 2 cheap security cameras, one facing the front door, one facing my living room. The first 3 nights, nothing. On the 4th night, I woke around 3 in the morning because my phone buzzed. Motion detected. I opened the app expecting another false alert. Instead, I saw someone standing outside my apartment door. They weren't trying to get in. They were just standing there, completely still, hood up, hands in pockets. After almost 4 minutes, they leaned toward the peephole. Then they walked away. Police checked the hallway. Nobody. The building cameras were supposedly malfunctioning. Convenient. I barely slept after that. I started staying with my brother. The strange messages stopped. No new confessions appeared for almost 2 months. I finally relaxed. Then one Sunday afternoon, my brother called while I was grocery shopping. "Hey, are you back for something?" "What? You were just here." "No, I wasn't." "You walked past the kitchen window." I dropped my shopping basket. He was serious. He'd seen someone wearing the same gray hoodie I always wore. Same height, same build. The person looked through the window and left. By the time my brother got outside, nobody. That scared me more than anything before. Someone wasn't just watching me. Someone wanted people to think they were me. I stopped using social media entirely, changed emails, bought a new phone, moved apartments. For about 6 months, silence. Then a coworker asked me something that made my stomach drop. "Hey, are you back on Reddit?" "No. Someone's using your old username." That wasn't possible. I logged in for the first time in months. My account was gone, not suspended. Gone. Searching my username brought up a nearly identical version with 1 extra underscore. Same profile picture, same writing style, except the account was posting confessions, horrible ones, identity theft, blackmail, fraud. Every confession hinted at details from my life, my city, my job, my hobbies. Enough that anyone reading could assume I was the writer. I reported the account. Reddit removed it within a day. Too late. Screenshots spread everywhere. Someone at work had already seen them. HR wanted to clarify some concerns. Try explaining that someone impersonated you through anonymous confession posts. It sounds ridiculous. I thought my career was over. Luckily, my employer hired a digital forensics company because several fake emails had also been sent from addresses pretending to be mine. That's when everything finally started making sense. My old laptop had been infected months earlier through what investigators believed was a malicious browser extension. It silently copied files, passwords, browsing history, documents, even screenshots, the spreadsheet, everything. Whoever controlled it knew exactly what interested me. They realized I was tracking their confession accounts. Instead of disappearing, they decided to scare me into silence. The investigator asked one question I'll never forget. "Did you ever respond directly to any of those confession accounts?" I nodded. He sighed. They were probably looking for someone curious enough to engage. Apparently, criminals sometimes post fabricated or partially true stories online to measure reactions. People who investigate them reveal what they know. Sometimes they reveal where they live without realizing it. Sometimes they click links. Sometimes they become targets. The person behind the accounts was eventually connected to several financial scams across different states, but they were never arrested, not because police didn't know who they were, because they vanished before warrants were issued. Every account deleted, every phone discarded, every address temporary, professional. The investigators believed the confessions were partly real and partly fictional, not guilt, ego, a way of bragging anonymously. What still bothers me is the final thing they found. Buried inside the malware logs was a folder labeled Observers. There were dozens of names, Reddit usernames, forum users, people who had commented on those confession posts asking too many questions. Some folders contained addresses, photos, workplaces. Mine wasn't the only one. No one could determine how many people on that list had ever been contacted, or if they even knew they were being watched. I deleted every Reddit account I'd ever made. I wiped every hard drive I owned. I use separate devices now, different passwords, no browser extensions unless I absolutely trust them. People laugh when I cover my webcam. That's fine. I don't argue anymore. Sometimes I'll still see confession threads trending online. People debate whether they're fake, whether someone could really do those things, whether anonymous posters are telling the truth. Most are probably made up. I hope they are. But every now and then I'll notice a sentence that feels familiar. The interesting part, or nobody ever suspects the quiet person. My heart still skips. I check the username. Usually it's deleted before I finish reading. And every single time, without thinking, I glance at my front door first, just to make sure no one is standing on the other side, waiting to see whether I notice them again. The worst thing I ever did wasn't illegal. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. I didn't break into anyone's house. I didn't steal money. I didn't hurt anyone with my own hands. But one lie I posted online destroyed a man's life, and by the time I realized how far it had gone, it was too late to stop it. I still search his name every few months hoping to find proof that he's okay. I never do. A few years ago, I worked nights as a customer support representative. The job was boring, so everyone spent their downtime scrolling Reddit. One evening, I found a small confession subreddit where people admitted things they'd never tell anyone in real life. It fascinated me because most posts sounded believable. One confession in particular caught my attention. Someone admitted they had anonymously reported a neighbor to the police just because they didn't like him. According to the post, officers searched the man's house, found nothing, but rumors spread anyway, and everyone in the neighborhood started treating him like a criminal. The comments were brutal. Thousands of people called the writer a monster. Others doubted the story was even real. That's when I had a stupid idea. I wondered how easily strangers could be manipulated if they believed something sounded authentic. I created a throwaway Reddit account and wrote a fake confession. I claimed I had secretly ruined my old manager's career by editing screenshots to make him look racist before sending them to corporate. I filled the story with believable details, awkward conversations, and fake guilt. By morning, it had over 20,000 upvotes. People believed every word. Some thanked me for being honest. Others called me evil. News websites even quoted the confession in articles about anonymous internet culture. I should have deleted it. Instead, I became addicted to the attention. Every weekend, I invented another confession. Each one was darker than the last. I learned exactly what made people believe a story. Small details, casual language, tiny imperfections. If I made the narrator sound embarrassed instead of dramatic, readers accepted almost everything without question. Eventually, people began recognizing my writing style, even though I kept making new accounts. Someone commented, "You're the confession guy, aren't you?" That should have scared me. Instead, I felt proud. Then I received a private message. "I know you're making them up." I ignored it. Another message arrived. I also know why. Still, I didn't reply. The third message was different. "You enjoy watching strangers accuse innocent people." That one bothered me because it was true. Not innocent individuals in my stories. They didn't exist. But real people in the comments constantly tried identifying who the confession was supposedly about. Readers searched Facebook profiles, compared locations, posted names. Entire discussions formed around finding the guilty person. I told myself none of it mattered because the stories were fiction. Then one confession changed everything. I wrote about secretly framing a high school teacher by placing inappropriate files on a classroom computer before anonymously reporting it. It wasn't based on anyone, completely fictional. Within hours, someone in the comments claimed the story matched a real incident from their hometown. Other users agreed. A teacher's full name appeared, then his school. Someone posted his photograph. The moderators eventually deleted those comments, but screenshots spread faster than they could remove them. I watched it happen. I said nothing. 3 days later, another message appeared from the same anonymous account. "Still entertaining?" I finally answered. "What do you want?" The reply came instantly. The truth. I admitted the stories were fake. They responded with one sentence. Too late. The next morning, every confession account I'd ever created had been permanently suspended. I figured Reddit finally connected them. I shrugged it off. Then my employer called. Someone had emailed HR claiming I used company equipment to spread fabricated stories that caused targeted harassment. They attached screenshots, dates, times, even photos of my desk. I was suspended while they investigated. Only 3 people knew exactly where I sat in that office. One was my supervisor. The other 2 worked beside me. I started wondering whether one of them was behind the anonymous messages. The investigation cleared me after a week because none of the stories mentioned my employer. I got my job back. But the messages didn't stop. You should confess publicly. You owe people that. You know what happened to the teacher. I searched his name. His social media had disappeared. Local articles only said he'd resigned pending an investigation. No follow-up, no explanation. I couldn't breathe. I convinced myself it wasn't connected. Coincidences happen. Then, another confession subreddit posted a story about someone who admitted fabricating viral confessions for attention. It sounded exactly like me. Except, I hadn't written it. Every detail matched my life. Night shift, customer support, multiple accounts, everything, except the ending. The writer claimed they planned to continue because ruining strangers had become exciting. The comments exploded with hatred. People demanded Reddit identify the account. Others tried tracking the writer. Someone guessed my city, another guessed my employer. The anonymous messenger sent one final notification. Now you know how it feels. I deleted every account I owned, changed my email, locked down every social media profile. For weeks, nothing happened. Then, a detective knocked on my apartment door. He asked whether I knew the teacher from my confession. I said no. He looked relieved. Apparently, the man had attempted suicide after online rumors reached parents in his district. He survived, but he disappeared afterward. The detective wasn't accusing me of a crime. He just wanted to know whether my confession had been based on reality. I admitted it was fiction. He believed me. Before leaving, he said something I still think about. People don't always separate stories from evidence anymore. Months later, I finally learned who had been messaging me. It wasn't someone I'd targeted. It wasn't law enforcement. It was another Reddit user who had become obsessed with exposing fake confessions. They had quietly collected information from my posts for nearly a year. Time zones, writing habits, metadata hidden inside images I uploaded elsewhere. Pieces that seemed meaningless on their own eventually pointed directly to me. They never threatened me physically. They never hacked me. They simply watched, patiently, waiting until they knew enough. When they finally contacted me one last time, there was no anger in the message. Only one sentence. You wanted strangers to believe lies. I wanted you to experience one. That account disappeared immediately afterward. I've never learned who they were. Maybe they thought they were delivering justice. Maybe they enjoyed manipulating me just as much as I'd manipulated everyone else. Either way, they succeeded. I haven't posted anonymously anywhere since. Every time I read a viral confession online, I wonder whether it's real, completely fake, or written by someone who simply wants to watch millions of strangers tear each other apart. Because I know firsthand how easy that is. And every once in a while, when I see a confession that feels just a little too believable, I don't read the comments anymore. I'm afraid someone innocent is already being turned into the villain before they even know their name has been written there.